So I was just watching Godowist making a sort of response and challenge to Gary, Do Not God. Uh, you know, and I think it can be fun to watch two people go at it, and I'm certainly a lot more sympathy for Godowist than Gary, um, but I'm not really rooting for a fight here because I've gotten to this point where any sort of so-called pwnage videos just seem like a frivolous waste of time to me, and so I like to just avoid channels in general that are hostile and confrontational. It's why I long ago unsubscribed to the Amazing Atheist, and I don't deal with Venom Fang X. I think people like that don't contribute to a lot to the public discussion, and I don't know why people bother with them. Um, and I've kind of gotten away debate from debate in general. I mean, I do like to defend my views if someone challenges them, but only if they do so in a reasonable conversational manner. Um, I made a response a while back to someone about free will, and the person I responded to did seem to be very genuine and yeah, and civil about his views on determinism and stuff. And he made a comment to asking me to remind him to make a response later. I don't plan to remind him because I don't much care whether or not he makes a response. The purpose of my reply to him was not so much to challenge him, but rather to lay out my own views on the subject. So I found that I prefer conversation over debate, and if disagreements arise in conversation and dialectic, then so be it. That's how we learn. Um, and so, with that, I would like to, I guess, tell you guys about an upcoming conversation I'll be having. I will be appearing on the Holons Network sometime in the next week. I guess we haven't picked a specific day, but hopefully next couple days. Um, and I really look forward to that. I hope I'm on my best game. In case you haven't noticed, I do have a bit of a speech impediment where I tend to stutter and stumble over my words a little bit. I hope I don't uh, get into, fall into that kind of uncomfortable mode during that conversation. But anyway, yeah, I look forward to that because, I mean, first of all, Matt and Jonathan are people who I don't have a lot of disagreements with. There are a few things where I think I could sort of challenge them on, but I don't really. But I kind of like the whole format of their network and the way that and the people they tend to invite on their sort of disposition towards conversation and dialectic. And like I say, I don't watch the Amazing Atheist anymore, but there are some interesting atheists who I disagree with, but enjoy watching like Das American Atheist and Jasper Abbey and Zomjiet. I don't know how to spell it. Zomjiet Chris. uh, you know, yeah, and there are other uh, you know phantasmagoricals, quote unquote, that I also have my disagreements with. But I feel like um, the reason I kind of like to emphasize conversation over debate is, yeah, there will be people who I definitely don't agree with, but I feel like if you go into a conversation with the idea to just refute their points or challenge them, um, I feel like that's sort of a self-defeating idea. That the point of conversing and engaging with other people should be to uh, to create to learn something from one another. And I think even people you disagree with, even if you don't come away with it from that conversation agreeing with them, you can come away um, having learned something. Often through sometimes in the process of having to defend yourself. Like I remember, I once had a conversation with a creationist who he certainly didn't convince me of creationism, but actually, when the arguments he put forward it forced me to research some things I didn't know about cosmology. Like he thought the sun, should have burned out by now, since it was just because he had this idea of the sun as this big ball of fire, and then that kind of forced me to look up fusion and understand the difference between fusion and combustion. And so, hey, I didn't learn anything directly from him, but I learned these things in the process um, of refuting his points, or of addressing his ideas. And so I think, fundamentally, what you have to the way you have to approach conversation and debate is with humility. And so I tend to avoid a lot of channels where people don't have a lot of humility, where they are out to sort of get people rather than to learn. Um, and so I guess uh, I want to send my appreciation to those people out there who have a civil and open-minded uh, uh, and I would say intellectually prodigious view like this. Um, so I guess that's my thoughts for now.